Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it? You already know. Like a torta with some bad habits. Bye. Bye. Let's get straight to this intro. Welcome back to the channel. And if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directing the direction of the dope content that I stay kicking. And I appreciate the support, man. I'm very humbled by it. So who is Mooseman? Who is this guy, right? This new co-host to No Jumper that came out of nowhere. And man, is it very controversial. There's so much controversy. No Jumper, it's like a Jerry Springer show of YouTube, right? But this is bad. This is bad on a whole different aspect. And the reason is because he's raza. He's Mexican and he's from Northern California. And man, it seems like the setup game was real. It seems like this guy contributed by having a big mouth and saying things about Wack 100. And at the end of the day, it got ugly for him. Now, we all know if you watch No Jumper, man, if you watch social media, period, man, No Jumper's all over the place. And they're consistently bringing different co-hosts. But if you notice, if you're brown and on No Jumper, you don't last very long. You know, the Dunos, the Compa Raiders. I think the only one who has outlasted everyone, and it's because he's always high as fuck, is Lush, right? But every other brown person that goes on there, raza, don't last too long. Adam makes a spectacle of them, or they make a spectacle of themselves, right? And at the end of the day, we all know that Adam has a kind of a distaste for the raza. Doesn't really like brown men. I don't know what it is, man. He tries to utilize them and he sees that they're headstrong and he does not like Mexicans. But that's just my look at it, man. I don't know. You keep thinking different way. So this Mooseman guy who is from Northern California, no, he is not a Norteño. No, he does not represent the Norteño movement, but it seems that he is embraced by a little bit of everybody. Now, he is considered a civilian. See, there's a difference in Northern California to Southern California when it comes to being Mexican and that geographical area. If you're Mexican, non-affiliate, and you go on podcasts and you speak your opinion, as long as you don't speak on prison or gang politics, or you're not really talking about stuff like that, they're not going to hold you accountable because you are just considered a civilian. You're a nobody when it comes to the gang life. Doesn't mean you're not a somebody in life. It means you're a nobody in that life. So they're not going to hold you accountable unless you start speaking ill or speaking on their business. Now, in Southern California, it's a little bit different. If you're from down south and you're Mexican, you are considered, you know, in Southern California, a resident, meaning that you still function with an understanding of the Southern business, but you're also not held accountable. This guy, Mooseman, has never been in Norteño. He might be associated with them, and there's a lot of people, oh, he doesn't associate with Norteños. Well, I beg to differ because I've seen this man several times on the No Paperwork podcast, which is considered an active Norteño podcast here on YouTube. And he sat down with them and he talked about a lot of people. He talked about the No Jumper podcast. Didn't speak ill about a lot of people, but basically put his opinion in. Now, I would ask you this, and I would say this. When does your opinion not count? Okay, if you are not a gang member and you're talking about gang shit, how does your opinion matter or count? You've never been part of it. You might be on the outside looking in. You might have associated with someone or had family members that were Norteños or Southsiders, but you have never lived that life. So what makes your opinion so great? You know, when I seen Mooseman sitting down with these Northerners on the No Paperwork podcast and talking about gang-related things and talking about certain individuals that are considered gang members, I was pretty shocked. Now, I get so much hatred for talking about what I talk about, but you got to have an understanding that I lived that life once upon a time. I was associated and a part of that life. So there's a lot of things I know, having been a former gang member, having been in the mix, right? But this guy Mooseman claims to not be that. Only when it's convenient, out of convenience, right? So these guys having him on the No Paperwork podcast, it was all good. Hey, they seen him as an up and rising, I guess, podcasting star on social media, and felt that if for no other reason, they should pull him to the side, invite him to their podcast, and kick back and kick some motherfucking stories with them. Now, this man wins some contest on No Jumper and becomes a guest host on No Jumper. And we all know No Jumper has it on lock. It's solidified, right? Hey, it seems like the only way to make it in social media, especially on the YouTube platform, is to go on No Jumper, right? That's not facts. The facts are I've never really seen anyone besides Poetic Flacco go on No Jumper and move on to individually have a great career in podcasting. And that man didn't do it because he was part of No Jumper. He did it because he has a big fucking mouth. That's how he did it. Straight up. That and a whole lot of luck with the algorithm. And that's just the truth, right? But this guy, Mooseman, thinks a lot of himself. He's basically a big mouth in a lot of people's business. It is what it is, man. Aren't we all? Isn't that the reason why you guys are watching right now? Because we want to see what the business is. But let me tell you how that works. When you have a lot of personalities, such as on No Jumper, you got personalities like Wack 100, you know, Paru, right? You got personalities like Adam. You want to fuck my wife? I'd fuck my wife. Would you fuck my wife? And then you have personalities like Lush. And now you have Mooseman and several other characters that have been on there. The Crit Max, the Sporty Faces, the who else has been on there, man? The Faux Extras. Right? Over and out, right? It ain't sporty if it ain't 40, right? You have a lot of these different characters. You've had Sharp and Duno and AD, and they all got their own personalities, and that reflects a lot on No Jumper. But we all know that No Jumper has basically went downhill when it comes to personalities. The Munchie Bees and the people that they bring on. I mean, Munchie Bee can't see shit, but he knows everything, right? And now you bring in Mooseman from Northern California, and I know Adam. You keep your token Mexican around, your token brown person around, because at the end of the day, man, there's always going to be a setup involved, and he's going to be the person that gets thrown under the bus. He's going to be the one that takes all the brunt of the bullshit. Now, you have the biggest personality of them all, Wack 100. Paru, right? And I've myself, man, had my conflict with Wack. You know, he said a whole lot of fuck my mamas and a whole lot of I'll beat you up and a whole lot of dropouts and a whole lot of whatever he said. And I laughed about it and I just kept it pushing because I know at the end of the day, Wack 100 is a whole lot of this. Because if you, we gotta do it smooth. If you mention Jay Diggs around Wack 100, oh crap, right? That motherfucker switches up quick. His whole style does. But I'll say this about Wack 100, right? Having seen him in person, you know, when I was a youngster in CYA, I can honestly say Wack 100 ain't no punk. I don't know what happened over the years, man. If he mellowed out, if he got older on us, man, we're about the same age. And if Wack 100, I know how I feel. So if Wack 100 just decided, man, I'm just all talk now, all bark, no bite, it is what it is, right? But Wack 100 most definitely picks and chooses his fights. Jay did. We can't even say the whole. You just, when you're around Wack 100, just say Jay did. Don't say Iggs, because if you say Iggs, oh, Sereno, right? That motherfucker wants to get up out of there and switch up. So this man, Mooseman, having a big mouth and being a personality, decided to go on a podcast or go over a phone call and say some pretty derogatory things about Wack 100. Basically trying to pit himself against Wack 100. And what did Adam do? He capitalized off it, as he always does. You know, if it ain't someone sticking that much beep on his old lady, there's definitely a mic in front of someone and a setup coming. And what did he do? He brought this man, Mooseman, onto the No Jumper podcast with Wack 100. And it was basically a setup. Either it was scripted and it just got out of hand, or Wack 100 just got bombarded and didn't know who this guy was. Now, when this guy was first mentioned to Wack 100, let me break it down. When Adam said, hey, I got a new co-host, Mooseman, you could see Wack 100 wasn't really concerned. He was like, oh, that's what's up. He's Mexican. That's cool. Because Wack 100 has had his conflict online with Mexicans, not necessarily in the streets, but definitely on social media, right? Myself, several others. And so you could see that Adam was trying to instigate and poke the bear, right? On J Diggs, right? He was trying to poke him. And what did he do? He got Wack 100 concerned when he said that this guy was from Sacramento, California, basically from Northern California. Immediately, you got to understand, Wack 100's mind is gang related. He knows prison politics. He knows street politics, gang politics. That's what his mind revolves around: making money, making music, and gangs, right? And that's pretty much it. You can't teach an old dog, rude dog. You can't teach him new tricks. It's just how it is. And I understand because my mind is kind of on the same shit. You know, I think about family first, my immediate family. Fuck everyone else, right? I think about my immediate family first, and then I definitely think about, you know, the prison lifestyle that I lived, the gang lifestyle that I lived. And that was pretty big. It had a big impact on my life. So I could understand where Wack 100 is coming from. We both started, we're YA babies. Same place, Nellis, Fred C. Nellis. I was there with Wack on 100. We started at the same age, same time, same fucking story, right? And so I know how Wack thinks. So when Adam mentioned that this dude Mooseman was from Sacramento, California, what happened immediately? Wack 100 got political. He said, "Oh, Adam," and he was just trying to give Adam game. "Oh, Paul, you can't be bringing them Nortenos around," because he understood that bringing a dude from Northern California around the Southsiders, and believe me, the Southsider politics do matter in Los Angeles, in Southern California. Absolutely. You'd be a fool to think that you could escape those politics, right? On the streets and behind those walls. And Wack knew enough to say, hey, that's just going to create conflict, create problems. You don't understand. He told Adam straight up, don't play with the Mexicans' politics, bro. You don't need that smoke. You don't want none of that. And we all know Adam's been poking the bear. He's been pressing. He's been trying, you know, bringing Nortenos on the podcast, bringing Bulldogs on the podcast, bringing dropouts on the podcast. Everyone seemed to glaze over that fact, right? But again, Adam's a civilian. He could talk to whoever he wants to talk to, which kind of always trips me out. You know, motherfuckers will be like, hey, I can't fuck with you, bro. You fuck with dropouts. You fuck with these guys. You fuck with those guys. But it's okay if Adam does it because he has a platform and we can get our shine on over there. All right, he gets the pass. So anyways, Adam's breaking it down, explaining that this man's not gang related. He's just from Sacramento, Northern California. But still, I see where Wack 100 was coming from. Where he's coming from basically is it don't matter, bro. People ain't going to see it that way. And he's telling facts and truths because I remember being in the youth authority and going to Fred C. Nellis in Whittier. This is truth. And dudes pulling up from Northern California that were not gang related. They just happened to catch the fucking wrong bus, right? And they'd get there and I tell them myself, there's actually one dude that I told who's actually somebody in the Norteno movement, like a motherfucker, right? For reals. I ain't even going to say his name, but I'm just going to say, I remember him getting there and he was from Tulare County. And I was like, hey, bro, where you from? You a homie and shit? You know, because he was with the other Northerners. And he was like, nah, bro, I don't even bang or nothing like that. I said, well, guess what? You do now. Because these dudes don't care. You're from Northern California. You're Mexican, homie. That's the way they're going to see you. At that particular time. It's different now, right? With social media. And so he said, well, fuck it. I'm on that gangster shit. And then that was it. And now he's still doing his thing. So I've seen it before. And I understand where Wack was coming from. He was basically trying to warn Adam, like, hey, you're going to get – once you start getting involved in Mexican politics, Southside, Norteño politics, Bulldog, all that, it's a whole different ball game, man. Motherfuckers ain't playing for funds, homie. You know what I'm saying? They're playing marbles for keeps, and they're keeping the whole sack. That's just how it is. So Adam, in typical Adam, said, well, I'm not really concerned. He wasn't concerned because it doesn't affect him. He's not the one that's going to get plaqueated. He's not the one that's going to get shot. He's not the one that's going to get hurt because we all know Adam said he'll tell. So, well, he ain't the only one that says he'll tell. So did Mooseman. So a conflict happens. These guys kind of go back and forth with their words. Already fucking Wack 100 is probably feeling, hey, you're bringing another dude in with a different personality, man. I ain't feeling that. And so there's a conflict that takes place. Now, from the video I watched, I didn't see Mooseman really say anything other than have a seat at the table. And that was enough to set Wack off. And you got to understand, Wack is, and the Academy Award goes to J Diggs. Wack 100, man, he'll yell and cry and scream and fucking fuss and Paru and everything, and then be cool 5 minutes later. That man just gets into the zone, right? His acting game is real. But I don't know if this was an act. He really wanted to fight old boy. Now a YA baby, man. You take flight. Ain't no one getting in the middle. He could have jumped over the table. There was plenty of times that the bodyguards or the security, whoever it was not in the middle of these two guys. Look, Mooseman jumped up with his hands up, didn't know what was going on and didn't want no smoke. didn't want zero smoke, and in fact said that he had 911 on speed dial and that he worked with police officers. Now, when is enough going to be enough? When is the civilian bullshit, the veil that motherfuckers hide behind? Oh, I'm a civilian. I'm going to associate with active Nortenos and go on their podcast. I'm going to associate with Crips and Bloods and active gang members and have my opinion on murder cases and have my opinion on who's doing what in the streets and have my opinion on this, and that. And then when the shit hits the fan, I'm a civilian. I don't want no part of it. Ask me any question. I won't tell you no lie. When you have 911 on speed dial, or you even say that, what possesses you to say that when you're hanging around these active gang members? It's not a reflection of them because you're not one of them, but it is a reflection of them because they are embracing you and allowing you into their circle and to sit down at their table. Case in point, the No Paperwork podcast. I have nothing bad to say about the No Paperwork podcast. Let them do their thing. Hey, the Nortenos have a voice, man, and that's a great thing because that's something the homeboys never had. You know what I'm saying? Was a voice that was willing to get up in front. It was always a clandestine group. You know, motherfuckers didn't want to conform to Mac reps. Motherfuckers didn't want to show who the leader was. It was always, now they have air and opportunity to voice their opinions. That's a beautiful thing. Southsiders do it at Hood Stocks, at fucking Haters World, and Nortenos do it at the No Paperwork podcast. Of course, Big Tone and them have their podcast. It is what it is, right? As you know what to speak on and what not to speak on, especially if you're in the game or you've been locked up. That's just how it is. Do sometimes I watch them say some of the things they probably shouldn't? Yeah, but who am I to fucking address that? I'm not in good standing, so I'm not that man, right? I have my own little thing going on. I respect them, and hopefully, man, they don't got to respect me, but they got to understand me, right? And so I see the No Paperwork podcast decided to distance himself from Mooseman after having him on a few times. When he started talking about calling cops and he started getting punked by fucking Wack 100, I could see the northern homies was like, hell no. Ishpo, con permiso en la tira. Roll it up, Mooseman. You're not welcome. So Mooseman's no longer welcome. And what does that do? I'm sure he doesn't care, but you got to understand that this man needs to go back to Sacramento. That's where he's from. People know now that he's a cop caller, and everything that people do for the price of fame, man, will have repercussions for that action. As far as him lasting on No Jumper, I don't see it happening. Adam did exactly what he does to every fucking Mexican that he comes around. He utilizes them and throws them out. I guarantee Mooseman's not going to be around for too much longer. They might use him in a few more skits and a few more setups to eventually he ends up getting spit on or slapped or something. And then I'm telling you, Adam's going to do what he always does. Oh, man, you disrespected Wack 100. You can't be on here. After Wack done jumped up, tried to choke him out, fucking called him all kinds of bitches and punks and fuck his mamas and did all that. None of that's going to matter because Wack 100 brings in revenue. You know what I'm saying? People like the drama. But this dude, Mooseman, is just going to be utilized as a victim. And once the victimization is over, see you later, buddy. And now he fucked it off. He can't go on these northern podcasts. He better do the Poetic Flacco and just do his own thing. You know, are the Norteños mad that he got punked by a brother? No, not at all. He's not a Norteño. It's none of their business if a man gets fucking punked. But I think they are upset the fact that he's like, oh, I'll call the cops. And that's the thing that the civilians are hiding behind nowadays, man. That's crazy. Oh, I'll just call the cops on you. I'll tell on you. It doesn't matter to me. I'm a civilian. I can get away with it. A snitch is a snitch. Even if you're poor or rich. Word up. I talk in the exact same pitch. Now, the title snitch, see, it don't apply to all women, but all women have a little bitch in them. Mooseman is acting real feminine, right? Look, if you could go on a phone or say something behind someone's back or talk about them when they're in your face, man, you got to handle your business. Now, I will say that, you know, Wack was all 5'4" of him was a little bit intimidating to Mooseman. Mooseman put his hands up in the air like he was getting fucking robbed or arrested, right? When at the end of the day, allegedly, he's the one working with the guys with handcuffs. So it should have been the other way around. I don't know, man. All I got to say is this guy, Mooseman, is another brown person, man, that's going to get fucking utilized on No Jumper. And it is what it is, man. He seems happy about it. You know, what people will do for clout nowadays, oh, my God, it's crazy, right? I seen something yesterday, a picture of Messi Marv. Oh, man, Messi's doing so bad, man. It hurts to see him like that, right? And he was just doing bad. And it was another rapper, allegedly a friend of his, that put the post up and it showed Messi, like, Messi has some fucking like Asics or old school Reeboks on. He was wearing an oversized hoodie and some sweats that was holding on for dear life. They was holding on like in Vogue, and he just didn't look good, right? And dude was like, hey, if you see Messi out there, man, go up and give him a hug. Go up and do something for him, man. Don't be posting his pictures and doing something. Brother, wasn't that what you, oh, Pablo, wasn't that what you was doing right there? Like, it's crazy the way people, clout is a hell of a drug. But, you know, this guy, Mooseman, like I said, I don't know where he came from, out of the woodworks, you know, claiming to be a civilian. But when you're going on active Norteño podcast, when you're going on these podcasts, speaking on things, man, you know, acting like you're the know-all and playing the tough role, well, guess what, man? You're going to get put on the spot. And guess what? On No Jumper, you definitely will get put on the spot because Adam and Wack 100, man, are in cahoots and they talk about shit behind the scenes. Best believe that was a setup. Best believe Adam, Wack, he told Wack, I'm going to have that dude Mooseman on today. Wack was like, oh, Paul, when do I? Because it was like out of nowhere. Wack just flipped the switch and did his thing, right? And no one expected this dude Mooseman. I mean, I thought he was going to hold his ground and at least say, man, I ain't no punk. I'll go outside. Even Poetic Flacco fucking went outside, right? I don't know how he was able to get up with those big-ass thunder thighs, but he went outside. This dude right here, this dude didn't want to go outside. This dude wanted to just chill, man, and do his thing. I don't know, man. All I got to say is we'll see how it all works out for him. But you notice, man, Adam always puts brown men in compromising positions, utilizes it for the chips, and the winner is. With that being said, thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle for what I truly believe in, and that's the betterment of all people. For those that are saying, oh, man, no paperwork podcast all of a sudden, nah, they're doing what they're supposed to do. They treated that dude with respect. They embraced him. They showed him love, and then he acts like that. Of course, active Nortenos don't want anything to do with that, man, because they say birds of a feather flock together, right? And they don't want to have nothing to do with that. I recognize that dude BFD saying, shit, bro, hey, no hatred, no nothing. You're not a homie, man, but I just can't fuck with you. That's just what it is. So how the fuck you gonna fuck with Adam, though, when he said the same thing? Didn't Adam say the same thing? He said he's a civilian, man, and if the law enforcement asked him anything, he's gonna tell. So you got to make it make sense. This video is sponsored by Barrio Liquors out there in Turlock, California. If you're ever in the Turlock area, pull up to the Barrio, get you some cold to drink. Also by Sticks and Stones Yard Service out there in Tucson, Arizona. If you're in the Tucson area, you need your yard work done, support the small local raza businesses. Don't do like Adam and use them. Support them, right? I got a good video coming out this afternoon, man. I'm going to address some things. We need to address some things. This is The Gun. Bang, bang.